stretching as far as the eye can see. Everything looks delicious, steaming under those golden lights. But here's the truth most cruisers never hear. Not everything on that buffet is safe to eat. Some of it has been sitting for hours. Some gets reused from yesterday's dinner. And a few items? They can actually ruin your entire cruise before it begins. So before you grab that plate, listen closely, because these are 18 cruise buffet foods you should avoid at all costs. And trust me, secret number 7 shocks even the most loyal Royal Caribbean cruisers. Number 1. Scrambled eggs from the buffet tray. They look fluffy, warm, and safe. But those buffet scrambled eggs might be one of the worst things you can eat on board. Most passengers think they're made fresh every morning. The truth? On many cruise lines, those eggs come from giant cartons of liquid mix or powdered egg substitute. They're poured into hotel pans, mass-cooked, and left sitting under heat lamps for hours. I once watched a buffet station on a popular Carnival ship. The eggs looked great until you saw the bottom layer, crusty, dried, and congealed into a yellow brick. The top looked fluffy, but underneath, it was pure food safety roulette. When eggs sit too long in that lukewarm danger zone, bacteria like salmonella can multiply quickly, especially if the kitchen's rotation timing slips during a busy morning rush. Combine that with guests handling tongs, sneezing nearby, and lids being left open, and you've got a breakfast trap disguised as comfort food. Here's the kicker. Even if the eggs are technically safe, they're often loaded with preservatives to hold their color and texture. That's why they taste bland and oddly rubbery. Skip the buffet tray entirely and head straight to the omelet station. Ask for fresh eggs, made to order, in front of you. You'll get real eggs, cooked hot, and you can watch exactly what goes into them. Your stomach will thank you before lunchtime hits. Number 2. Soft-serve ice cream machines. Everyone loves grabbing a cone after a day at sea, but that creamy soft-serve swirl could be hiding a disgusting secret. Most cruisers think the ice cream machine is this magical, never-ending treat station. But what they don't realize is how rarely those machines are deep cleaned. On many ships, especially during peak sailings, crew members simply wipe the exterior and keep the machine running, non-stop, for days at a time. Here's a true story from a crew member who worked the dessert line on an MSC ship. He admitted the soft-serve machine ran nearly 24 hours a day. The same mix, the same internal tubes, just refilled and retopped. When they finally opened it for a deep clean, they found a layer of sticky residue and dried dairy inside. That's a buffet bacteria dreamland, and you'd never know it by looking at your cone. Dairy plus warm machinery equals bacteria growth. And because the soft-serve dispenser doesn't fully freeze the mix, the inside stays damp. Perfect conditions for mold and mildew to thrive. That innocent dessert can trigger upset stomachs, headaches, and even mild food poisoning. And since cruise ships recycle thousands of cones per day, even one contaminated machine can spread illness fast. So what's the smart move? Skip the buffet dispenser. Head to the scooped ice cream counter instead, usually near the dessert bar or pool deck cafe. It's stored properly, handled with gloves, and cleaned daily. You'll still get your ice cream fix, just without the side of bacteria. Number 3. Buffet sushi rolls. It looks fresh, fancy, and oh so Instagrammable. But cruise buffet sushi is one of the riskiest foods you can put on your plate. Here's what most passengers don't realize. Sushi on cruise ships isn't made at the buffet. It's prepped hours before, sometimes the night prior, in bulk trays deep inside the galley. Then it's brought out to the buffet, where it sits under warm lights far longer than raw fish ever should. On one Royal Caribbean sailing, a passenger noticed a tray of tuna rolls that looked a little glossy. Turns out, that shine wasn't freshness. It was condensation forming as the fish warmed. That same tray sat there for 45 minutes. By the time someone finally replaced it, hundreds of people had walked past, breathed over it, and picked up rolls with the same tongs. Raw fish plus time equals danger. When sushi rice and fish reach room temperature, bacteria like Listeria or Vibrio can multiply, and that's how foodborne illness spreads on ships. Cruise ships actually serve excellent sushi, just not at the buffet. Go to the specialty sushi restaurant or Asian fusion eatery on board. Those chefs prepare rolls fresh, under strict temperature control. You'll get real wasabi, better flavor, and zero risk of ruining your vacation. Because trust me, Nothing kills a sunset on the Lido deck like spending the night in the ship's infirmary after buffet sushi surprise. Number 4. The healthy salad bar. It looks like the safest choice on the cruise ship, but the buffet salad bar is one of the dirtiest high-traffic zones on board. Most passengers think fresh greens equal fresh start. The truth? Those tongs, ladles, and sneeze guard gaps turn the salad station into a cross-contamination hotspot within minutes of opening. On a packed sea day aboard a Royal Caribbean ship, I watched 3 different guests fish olives out with fingers, return dropped croutons to the bin, and double-dip the ranch ladle after it touched a plate. Multiply that by hundreds of people, all day long, and you've got a germ conveyor belt. Here's the catch. Lettuce wilts fast under warm buffet lights. When it does, staff often miss trays or toss fresh leaves on top of older ones to stretch inventory between galley runs. Those still crisp cucumbers? Pre-cut hours ago. The quinoa protein salad. Mixed in bulk, then stirred and re-stirred with the same utensil dozens of hands have touched. Add dressings made with dairy and eggs sitting borderline cold, and you've built a perfect environment for E. coli, norovirus, and cross-allergen contact. A single contaminated ladle can spread illness to the entire line, and salad bars are where outbreaks quietly start. Nothing derails your carnival or MSC itinerary faster than a stomach bug before your shore excursion. Skip the open troughs. Grab sealed pre-portioned salads from the cafe or room service, or ask the main dining room for a made-to-order salad with fresh chopped veg and dressing on the side. You'll get cleaner prep, colder temps, and far fewer hands between you and your greens. Number 5. Communal bread baskets. They look harmless and cozy, but communal bread baskets are some of the most touched, least protected items on a cruise buffet. Most passengers think bread is safe because it's baked. The truth? It's what happens after baking that's the problem. On a busy embarkation day aboard an NCL ship, I watched a kid grab a roll, take a bite, make a face, and put it back. Minutes later, another guest picked up the same roll. No tongs, no napkin, just fingers. On another sailing, a late-night crowd hovered over the bread station, tearing pieces from a single loaf like it was a campfire marshmallow. By morning, those same loaves were sliced and replated. Here's the catch. Bread sits at room temperature next to high-traffic items like butter, oils, and tap water pitchers. Guests handle tongs, then scratch, then handle tongs again. Gloves slip. Plates tap the pile. And because bread is dry, people forget it can still carry viruses and bacteria across dozens of hands. Add communal butter tubs, where knives touch plates, then go back in, and you've got a perfect cross-contamination pipeline. Norovirus doesn't need much to spread. One contaminated hand on a roll can sideline you for 24 to 48 miserable hours. That means missed main dining, missed pool days, and maybe even your big shore excursion. Skip the open baskets. Ask the main dining room for fresh, individually served rolls or grab pre-wrapped, pre-sliced bread from the cafe. If you must use the buffet, use tongs only. Take the top piece, avoid communal butter tubs, and opt for sealed butter packets or olive oil poured by a crew member. Number 6. Self-serve gravy and sauce containers. They look piping hot and harmless, but self-serve gravy and cheese sauce are stealth contamination traps on a cruise buffet. Most passengers think the heat lamps and chafers keep everything safe. The truth? Those ladles get grabbed by hundreds of hands, set on counters, and even dipped into the wrong pan when the line gets chaotic. On a packed sea day aboard a carnival ship, I watched guests move a ladle from mac and cheese to brown gravy, then back again. Another person rested the ladle handle directly inside the sauce, then wiped it on the rim. By the end of lunch, a skin had formed on top while the edges bubbled, classic sign of uneven temps. Dairy and meat-based sauces are high risk in the danger zone. If the chafer fuel dies or the electric well fluctuates, that velvety gravy can slide below 60 degrees Celsius per 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Add cross-contamination from carving stations, meat juices, breadcrumbs, even raw-touch utensils, and you've got a perfect recipe for stomach trouble before your Royal Caribbean sail-away party. Once a sauce separates, the fat rises, and the water phase cools faster, exactly where bacteria multiply. A few spoonfuls with your turkey can mean spending the evening in your cabin instead of enjoying the atrium show, the casino, or your MSC late-night buffet. Do this instead. Skip communal vats. Ask a crew member at the carving station for sauce ladled fresh from the galley, or choose pre-portioned sealed gravies when available. If you must use the buffet, hit newly swapped pans, watch for active steam, and use clean utensils that haven't migrated between trays. Number 7. Shrimp cocktail at the buffet. It looks elegant on ice, but buffet shrimp cocktail is one of the fastest ways to gamble with your cruise. Most passengers think chilled shrimp equals safe seafood. The truth? Shrimp is extremely perishable, and buffet service adds time, temperature swings, and lots of handling. On a crowded sea day aboard a major line, I watched a mountain of shrimp arrive glistening and cold. Then the ice bed melted under the heat lamps and Caribbean humidity. Guests kept scooping with the same tongs. A crew member stirred the pile to refresh it, but the shrimp were already lukewarm by the time the steel drum band started. Here's the catch. Shrimp is often pre-cooked, chilled, and transported in bulk. If it sits even a little too long off proper ice, bacteria get a head start. Then leftovers can migrate into seafood salad or a mixed ceviche bowl later in the day. Add communal cocktail sauce, where spoons touch plates and dip back in, and you've got cross-contamination waiting to happen. That's how a classy starter turns into a long night in your cabin, while your friends hit the atrium show and you miss tomorrow's shore excursion. Shellfish-related tummy trouble is brutal at sea. You don't want to visit the ship's infirmary when you should be on Royal Caribbean's flow rider, Carnival's water slides, or heading ashore on that MSC beach day. Skip buffet shrimp entirely. If you want seafood, book the specialty restaurant or order it in the main dining room, where portions are made to order and served ice cold or piping hot. If you insist on the buffet, only take shrimp from freshly swapped trays on deep ice and grab sealed cocktail sauce packets. Never the communal bowl. Number 8. Carved roast meats under heat lamps. That glistening prime rib looks like a showstopper, but meat lounging under heat lamps can be a time and temperature trap. Most passengers assume carving stations mean fresh. The truth? On busy sailings, that roast may have started life at yesterday's dinner, then been cooled, reheated, and touched up with a glossy au jus. On a recent NCL buffet, I watched a carver repeatedly baste a roast that had obvious dry edges. The outer slices looked juicy. The core was still dull and lukewarm. When the rush slowed, staff lowered the heat to keep it from drying. Exactly when the danger zone creeps in. Heat lamps don't cook, they hold. If the internal temperature dips below 60 degrees C/140 degrees F, bacteria can multiply, especially around the cut surface where juices collect. Cross-contamination gets real too. The same knife and board sea ham, turkey, and beef, plus guests resting plates against the counter. Once the au jus or gravy separates, fat up, water down. The cooler layer becomes bacteria's favorite hangout. Result? A great-looking slice that sends you back to your cabin before sail-away trivia. Foodborne illness at sea means lost sea days, missed main dining experiences, and maybe a visit to the ship's medical center. Not the souvenir you planned from your Royal Caribbean or Carnival vacation. Hit carving stations right when a fresh roast is set out. Ask for a slice from the newly opened center and confirm it's piping hot. Visible steam, no cool pockets. Better yet, choose the main dining room for roasts made to order, or grab freshly grilled options from the poolside grill where you can watch them cook in real time. Number 9. Buffet pizza. It smells amazing and looks fresh from the oven. But buffet pizza is often the stalest slice on the ship. Most passengers think a rotating pizza tray means constant baking. The truth? On packed sea days, those pies can cycle for 30 to 45 minutes under heat lamps, getting rewarmed, replated, and refreshed with a sprinkle of cheese to fake moisture. On a late-night Carnival buffet, I watched a crew member slide limp slices into a new pan, then blast them under a lamp to crisp the edges. From a distance, it looked perfect. Up close, the crust was cardboard, the cheese had separated, and the pepperoni glistened with old oil. Here's the catch. When pizza sits, moisture migrates from sauce into crust. The bottom turns rubbery, the top greases out, and the center cools first, right in the food safety danger zone if rotation slips. Add communal shakers and tongs that hundreds of hands touch, and that innocent midnight snack becomes a cross-contamination risk. By morning, leftover pies can reappear as breakfast pizza with a token egg crumble on top. Same pie, new label. No thanks. Why it matters. A bad slice won't just disappoint. It can upset your stomach before your big shore excursion or leave you sluggish when you wanted to hit Royal Caribbean's Flowrider or MSC's pool deck. You paid for great food. Don't settle for heat lamp leftovers. Skip the buffet and head to the dedicated pizza counter, often open late, where pies are made to order. Ask for a fresh pie or a slice from a new bake and request it well done so you get a crisp bottom melted cheese and a slice that's actually worth your calories. Number 10. Buffet pasta with cream sauces. It looks rich and comforting, but cream-based buffet pastas are a fast track to disappointment and possible tummy trouble. Most passengers think Alfredo equals luxury. The truth? On many cruise ship buffets, those sauces are bulk made hours earlier and held in pans where heat is inconsistent. I watched a Royal Caribbean lunch rush where the fettuccine pan looked glossy on top, but, once stirred, revealed a broken sauce. Oil floating, milk solids clumping, and noodles welded together. A crew member splashed in hot water to loosen it. It looked better for 5 minutes, then separated again. Dairy and egg-thickened sauces are high risk in the danger zone. When a chafer burns low or the electric well cycles, the sauce cools just enough for bacteria to thrive in the watery layer. Stirring doesn't fix it. It just redistributes whatever's growing. Add in constant tongue traffic. Guests mixing serving utensils between tomato and cream trays, and UVE got cross-contamination with meats, seafood bits, and allergens. By late service, the pasta turns gluey while the sauce tastes tangy and off. Classic signs that it's been riding the line too long. A bad cream pasta can sideline you before sail-away trivia, make you sluggish before a shore excursion, or, worse, send you to your cabin early with cramps when you should be enjoying Carnival as Comedy Club or MSC's deck party. You paid for great dining. You shouldn't settle for nursing a bland, broken sauce. Choose made-to-order pasta at the action station or skip cream entirely and go red sauce or olive oil/garlic. It holds heat safely, tastes brighter, and you can watch it cooked fresh right in front of you. Number 11. Buffet burgers and hot dogs. They look like easy comfort food, but buffet burgers and hot dogs are usually reheated, not freshly grilled. Most passengers think those patties came off a sizzling flat-top minutes ago. The truth? On many cruise ship buffets, burgers are batch-cooked in a galley, held in warming trays, then shuffled under heat lamps. I watched a lunch rush on a Carnival sailing where a crew member lifted the lid on a deep pan of grayish patties soaking in their own juices. When the line got long, they moved the pan to the front and called it fresh. Moments later, guests stacked lukewarm meat onto buns and wondered why the cheese wouldn't melt. Ground meat is high risk when temps slip. Heat lamps hold but don't cook, and the center of a patty cools fastest, the exact danger zone bacteria love. Add communal toppings. Tomato slices handled with the same tongs as lettuce, mayo sitting borderline cold, ketchup pumps everyone touches, and you've got cross-contamination on a sesame seed bun. By late service, buns go stale, onions dry out, and dogs wrinkle as they dehydrate on rollers. It looks like ballpark food from last inning. A lukewarm burger can mean a long afternoon in your cabin instead of the pool, the Flowrider on Royal Caribbean, or your MSC shore excursion. And once you feel off at sea, it's hard to bounce back before formal night or that specialty dining reservation. Skip the buffet pans. Go to the poolside grill or the dedicated burger stand where patties are griddled to order and hot dogs are pulled fresh off the roller. Ask for yours right off the grill, add sealed condiment packets, and top with crew-served garnishes to keep it hot, safe, and worth the calories. Number 12. Open cheese platters. They look upscale and harmless, but uncovered cheese boards are sneaky contamination zones on cruise buffets. Most passengers think it's just cheese. What's the risk? The truth: soft and semi-soft cheeses are magnets for bacteria when they sit at room temperature, and hard cheeses collect every fingerprint, crumb, and cough that passes the station. On a sea day aboard a mega ship, I watched a brie wheel go from picture-perfect to puddled in an hour. Guests sliced with the same knife they'd just used on salami, rested it on the rind, and then reached over to grab grapes by hand. A toddler patted the cheddar cubes like building blocks. 10 minutes later, another guest scooped those same cubes. Once cheese sweats, moisture beads on the surface. That moisture traps airborne particles and invites bacterial growth, especially around rinds and cut edges. Cross-contamination ramps up fast. One knife moves from prosciutto to brie to blue, spreading allergens and meat juices. Add fruit trays parked beside the board, where melons leak onto the cheese. And UVE created a slick, sugary layer that spoils even quicker under those warm buffet lights. Dairy-related upsets can knock you out for a full evening. Instead of sail-away cocktails, the show in the theater, or late-night pizza on Carnival, you read back in your cabin with cramps. And missing tomorrow's shore excursion doesn't feel very vacation. Do this instead. Skip uncovered, self-serve cheese. Choose sealed portions. Think wedges or wrapped spreads. From the cafe, ask the wine bar for a made-to-order cheese plate assembled by crew, or enjoy cheese in the main dining room, where it's plated fresh-handled with clean utensils and served right when you're ready to eat it. Number 13. Fresh fruit displays. It looks vibrant and healthy, but those towering fruit displays can hide some of the worst hygiene problems on the buffet. Most passengers think fruit is the cleanest choice on a cruise ship. The truth? Pre-cut melon, pineapple, and berries are high risk once they're sliced and sitting out. On a hot Caribbean afternoon aboard a mega ship, I watched condensation bead under the fruit trays while guests reached over the sneeze guard to pick the best piece. A server rotated the pile by dumping new chunks on top of older fruit. The top looked glossy. The bottom was mushy and warm. Melons and pineapples are cut hours in advance in bulk, then ride elevators, staging carts, and warm corridors before they ever hit ice. If that ice melts, or the tray sits over a lukewarm well, sugars and juices pool, attracting fruit flies and speeding up bacterial growth. Tongs migrate from one tray to another. Kids taste test grapes, then put them back. And because fruit looks fresh, people drop their guard and skip hand sanitizer entirely. A bowl of questionable fruit can trigger stomach cramps right before your shore excursion, derail your pool day on Royal Caribbean or MSC, and leave you stuck in your cabin while everyone else hits the comedy club on Carnival. You came for vitamin C, not a surprise detox. Choose whole fruit you can peel: bananas, oranges, mandarins. Grab sealed fruit cups from the cafe or room service, or ask the main dining room for a made-to-order fruit plate assembled cold, covered, and delivered straight to your table. Number 14. Buffet pancakes and French toast. They look golden and comforting, but buffet pancakes and French toast are almost never fresh from the griddle. Most passengers assume breakfast turnover is fast. The truth? These are batch cooked in the galley, stacked in hotel pans, and parked under heat lamps. On a busy embarkation morning with NCL, I watched a crew member spritz a tray with water, cover it, then uncover 5 minutes later, steam refresh. From far away, the stack looked fluffy. Up close, the edges were leathery, the centers rubbery, and the syrup ladle had just fallen into someone's plate, then went right back into the pitcher. Here's the catch: starchy foods degrade quickly. As pancakes sit, they lose steam, tighten gluten, and turn chewy. French toast soaks up condensation and becomes custardy in the worst way. Cool in the middle, soggy on the surface. Syrup bottles and communal tongs get touched by hundreds of hands between bites. And once those chafers fluctuate, which they do during rush, you got lukewarm carbs squarely in the danger zone. The combo of sugar, fat, and questionable temps can leave you queasy before your shore excursion or sluggish when you wanted to hit Royal Caribbean-esque Flowrider or Carnival-esque water slides. You paid for sea views, not a nap with a stomach ache. Skip the stack under lamps. Go to the made-to-order station and ask for fresh pancakes or French toast off the griddle, or order room service breakfast timed to your morning. Request syrup packets or crew-poured syrup and use clean tongs for toppings so you get hot, fluffy, and safe every time. Number 15. Buffet soups. It feels like the safest choice, but buffet soups can be bland at best and risky at worst. Most passengers picture simmering stock pots and fresh aromatics. The truth? Many cruise buffets rely on concentrated bases or powdered mixes, then hold soup in wells for hours. On a sea day aboard a Carnival ship, I lifted a ladle of tomato bisque and watched it pour like water. The top had a skin. The bottom had scorched bits. A crew member stirred, added more hot water, and called it good. 10 minutes later, it separated again, fat on top, thin below. Cream or meat-based soups are high risk if temps slip. When the well cycles or the chafer fuel runs low, the center cools first. Starches break down, dairy curdles, and the water phase invites bacterial growth. Guests often rest the ladle on the rim, where it kisses the counter, then drop it back into the pot. And cross-contamination is constant. The same ladle migrates from chowder to chili to vegetable, along with allergen residue. A comforting bowl can turn into an afternoon in your cabin instead of exploring port, catching the show, or making your MSC dining reservation. Soup should warm your soul, not test your stomach. Order soup in the main dining room where it's made to order and held properly. If you must go buffet, pick clear broths over cream bases, choose freshly swapped pots that are visibly steaming, and use a clean ladle without touching the rim. Number 16. Buffet desserts. They look like little works of art, but cream-filled pastries on the buffet are ticking time bombs. Most passengers think, it's dessert, how bad can it be? The truth, dairy and egg fillings spoil fast at room temperature, and dessert stations are where lids are off and temptation is high. On Royal Caribbean, I watched a tray of mini eclairs go from glossy to dull within 30 minutes. Guests hovered, breathed over them, swapped tongs with the cheesecake, and one person even poked a pastry to see if it was still soft. It was, because it was warming up. Custards and whipped creams break under heat lamps. When the emulsion splits, water seeps out, sugar turns tacky, and bacteria get moisture and fuel. Add fruit glazes that attract flies, and chocolate shards that get handled with bare hands. And you've created a dessert display that's better for photos than for eating. Leftovers often return at lunch with a new garnish. Same pastry, new label. You don't want a queasy night before your specialty steakhouse booking or a seasick morning when you plan that NCL shore excursion. One bad bite can turn your sweet finish into a bitter memory. Choose dry desserts, cookies, brownies, plain cakes, or head to the cafe/patisserie where items are covered and rotated faster. In the main dining room, pick plated desserts assembled a la minute, and if you love cream, ask for freshly whipped or ice cream scoop to order, not the uncovered tray. Number 17. Reused condiments and toppings. Those condiment bars look convenient, but they're some of the most handled, least sanitized spots on the buffet. Most passengers think pumps and squeeze bottles keep things clean. The truth? Nozzles touch plates, pumps get helped by fingers, and lids sit open for hours. On an MSC lunch rush, I saw tongs bounce from pickles to onions to jalapenos, while a guest used the mayo spoon, touched their burger, then returned the spoon. Another topped a salad with bacon bits, dropped some on the counter, and swept them back into the bin. Multiply that by 1,000 hungry people, and you've got a germ festival. Mayo, dressings, relish, and cut tomatoes all ride the temperature edge. Once they sit borderline cold, they separate and invite bacterial growth. Dry toppings aren't safe either. Shared scoops transfer whatever was on the last hand. And allergen cross-contact is rampant. One scoop goes from cheese to nuts to croutons, then back again. A sloppy topping bar can undo an otherwise safe meal. Suddenly you re-queasy before the sail-away party or dragging during your carnival sea day when you plan the water park and trivia. Ask for single-serve packets, ketchup, mustard, mayo, let crew spoon condiments for you at the grill, and choose sealed cups for dressings. If you use the station, pick freshly set containers, use clean utensils, and avoid bins where scoops have gone missing or look greasy. Number 18. Water pitchers and ice scoops. They seem like harmless self-serve essentials, but communal water pitchers and ice scoops are notorious contamination sources. Most passengers think ice is clean because it's frozen. The truth? Ice is a food, and it gets handled like an afterthought. On a hot port day with Royal Caribbean, I watched guests reach into the bin with glasses, rest the scoop handle inside the ice, and refill half-melted pitchers without washing them. A child played with the scoop, dropped it on the counter, then tossed it back in. 10 minutes later, another guest used that same scoop for their drink. Here's the catch. Once a scoop handle touches the ice, it drags in everything from countertops to fingers. Meltwater collects at the bottom of bins, warming quickly under buffet lights and turning into a bacterial spa. Pitchers, meanwhile, often get topped off rather than cleaned, which means whatever touched the spout rides along to the next pour. Add guests who set glasses directly against dispensers, and cross-contamination spreads to the entire station. Norovirus and similar bugs love high-touch, wet surfaces. One sloppy ice bin can take you out for 24 to 48 hours. Missed shows, miss shore excursions, and a vacation you'll try to forget. Skip open bins and use the covered beverage dispensers or grab bottled water. If you need ice, ask a crew member to scoop it with a clean utensil stored handle outside the bin, and never let your glass touch the spout or the scoop. Your stomach and your cruise will thank you. There you have it, the 18 cruise buffet foods to avoid if you want to stay healthy, energized, and ready for every show, pool day, and shore excursion. Most passengers think it all looks fine, but now you know the insider truth. Time, temperature, and too many hands can turn a tempting tray into a vacation ruiner. Be picky. Choose made to order. Use crew-served options. And when in doubt, skip the buffet version and get it from the main dining room or a specialty venue. If this saved you from at least one risky plate, hit like, subscribe, and comment the buffet item you always skip.